Welcome back to Sports Edge, everyone. We are in the high school playoff season, the championship Saturday coming up, and I know these two guys would much rather be coaching tomorrow. We have some great coaches from high school hockey. We have Lou Payne of East Haven, Bill Venaris of Hamden, and guys, thanks for coming in. Before we got on here, I thought I was going to have to separate these two because they used to play together. I thought we were going to have a fight here. You guys okay?
No, we're good. He was my captain.
He was my captain. I'm still a little shell-shocked. You know, he put 10 goals in my goalie this year. So.
Okay. Well, maybe afterwards you guys can go at it.
We'll have to talk about it.
But you guys have a lot of history here, and you guys have done a lot of great coaching of great players and been a top 10 team most of the year this year. You've seen the two teams that are playing this Saturday in the Division I championship, Darien and Fairfield Prep. And Bill, start with you. Who do you like in this game?
Well, you know, Prep, they just go to another level when they get to Ingalls Rink. You know, they just play with a different mojo, and they have that confidence and that swagger, and they have such talented players. But, you know, both teams are very similar, good goaltending, you know, solid offensively. I want to say Darien because I'm a public guy, but I think it's going to be tough for Darien to beat Prep 3 times. So I'd have to say Prep probably will prevail and win their 18th straight, 18th state title.
And Lou, I know you played Prep this year. You didn't have a chance to play Darien, but I know you've seen them play. Who do you like?
I'll tell you, I think just like Bill did, I think Fairfield Prep really got an advantage in this game. I think they got a past history of playing real well at Ingalls Rink. They won it there before. They've been in so many finals there before. Darien, it's probably the first time that they're playing for a championship in Ingalls Rink, if I'm correct. But I just think there's so much experience and there's so much depth with Fairfield Prep. I got to give an edge to them.
And you just won state titles not long ago, Bill, at Hamden. So how much does experience play into a championship game on a Saturday when Ingalls Rink is packed like that?
Well, you know, it's more the kids. You know, if you have a senior-dominated team, it helps a lot. And that's basically most of it. But, you know, experience does help, but basically, when you get to that final game, I always said players win championships, not coaches. So, like Louis said, Prep was there last year. They were there the year before. They're comfortable in that scene. It's just meant to be for them there.
You guys have coached for a while. I know Lou closing in on almost 30 years, head coach at East Haven. You know, I don't know if you take for granted getting to a state championship game, if you even get there. How hard is it to actually get to state championship title games?
You know, it's so difficult to get there. I mean, you have to remain healthy, number one. Even if you got the players, you got to remain healthy. An injury or two could keep you out of there. And then the way it's set up with the state of Connecticut hockey is it's one game, do or die. So if you have a bad game, let's say your goaltender has a bad game, or reverse of that, a goaltender has a great game, and you know just plays one great game, and all of a sudden he upsets somebody, and he knocks maybe the best team out of the tournament. So I've always been a kind of an advocate that I think it should be the best of 3, and this way you don't have that one fluke game that gives a team a state championship. But that's my thought on it.
Do you think we'll see a high-scoring game this Saturday, or is it going to be kind of one of these 2-1, 3-2 type games?
I'm looking at maybe 4-3, something like that. No.
How about you?
And I got a 4-2 Prep. Yeah.
Well, like Louis was saying before, he's right. When you single elimination is so hard, and there's always that one game that you have to fight through.
Right.
And there's that one game out of the 4 that you don't play well. And you gotta fight through that adversity, and the character integrity comes through, and that's where the teams with seniors and experience usually comes through.
All right, we've got a Prep. I'm going to go Darien. I'm going to be the odd guy here, and I'm going to make some people at Fairfield Prep probably unhappy. So when I'm out there shooting the game on Saturday, they'll probably give me a little grief. But we run out of time on TV. We're going to push this thing over to sportsedge.com if you'd like to hear more as we talk hockey with Lou Payne and Bill Venaris. All right, you know, we talked a little bit about this. You both coach at public schools. You know, to see the Fairfield Preps, the Notre Dames, some of these schools that, you know, can draw from a broader area. Is it frustrating from your ends, guys?
Well, you know, I think as far as, you know, like, and I think Billy might agree, he's dealt the cards he gets. You have to be a Hamden resident. I'm dealt the cards I get. You got to be an East Haven resident. They're getting kids from all over the place. You see some of the rosters. Let's say a Fairfield Prep roster. They got a kid from New Haven, or they got a kid from North Branford. They got a kid from Hamden, or maybe 2 kids from Hamden, 1 from West Haven. Then all of a sudden, there's 1 or 2 from Wallingford, and you kind of wonder, well, gee, how's a kid from Wallingford make it all the way up to Fairfield? And I'm not just saying at Fairfield Prep. There's a couple Notre Dame teams and Xavier. You look at their rosters, and it's interesting to see, well, gee, how could they land a kid from North Branford to Notre Dame and Fairfield? And I had this discussion the other day. There was like one kid or 2 kids on the Notre Dame and Fairfield roster that was from North Branford. And my question would be how did they bypass Notre Dame and West Haven to go to Notre Dame and Fairfield?
Right.
And I mean, two good educations they can get as far as either school, but why one over the other? And that would be some of my questions. So, but the public school, are they a little bit at a disadvantage? I would say yes. Our rosters are always smaller. I happened to look today, because we're looking forward to next year. Fairfield Prep loses 8 kids this year, seniors. They got 37 returning.
Wow.
I stand to have 19 kids try out next year. So it's going to be one of our leanest years. But so, you know, we try to do the best that we can do as a public school, and you try to compete at the highest level, which is the toughest thing.
And you guys have both done it for years. I mean, how have you done that, Bill?
Well, you know, we have a pretty established program, as you know. Hammond's, you know, started their program in 1935. We have probably the richest tradition in the state. So, you know, we've been able to, you know, keep it going. But, you know, like Louis said, the parochials just have an advantage. Just look at the state tournament winners. There's only been 2 public schools to win the state title in the last 20?
Yeah, I think
Close to 20 years. Right. We were lucky to win 2. I lost to Simsbury and I lost to Notre Dame of Fairfield, but it's getting harder and harder.
Yeah.
But, you know, the problem is there's just not enough teams in Connecticut to really set up a separate league. Right. I think what they should do, which would work, is possibly have a Super 8 league where, so like a Darien team this year, you know, Darien is good enough and capable enough to compete against Prep and the Notre Dames and the Notre Dame of Fairfields. So give them that option to go for the Super 8 title. I mean, that's the only option you can make. Because I think if they were to make a parochial league, I just think it would take away from some of the better public schools.
Sure. Right.
Like Louis this year had a great team, obviously,
right.
You know. And so, I mean, maybe in the future they'll do something like that. They'll take the top 8, put them in a Super 8 league, and then they'll go Division I, Division II. There's a lot of possibilities.
You guys both have had such rich traditions at East Haven, at Hamden. You've seen a lot of great hockey over the years. Is high school hockey kind of even at another level now, just like fan-wise and crowd-wise and just talent-wise?
Well, it seems like, I mean, the crowds have really been big this year, but you know, it seems like they've always been, you know, good size as far as that. But I think the kids from high school hockey are having a tendency, the better ones at times, to leave earlier. Now, you know, some guys will leave their sophomore year, some guys will leave their junior year. And that's another thing also, you know, you have to deal with, because you might have one of your players who's a sophomore or junior, and then they'll leave for prep school the following year.
Right.
And, you know, then you got to start all over again. But I think, you know, high school hockey attracts a great crowd. And I think that's the reason why CIAC chooses to have that venue of the Ingalls Rink, from the quarterfinals now all the way to the semifinals and the finals, and because they draw so well, and you know, it's a moneymaker for them, and they do well with that draw. We drew very well this year. I know our game against Hamden was a great crowd, and then we happened to play West Haven in the first round of the playoffs, and we sold out the day before. That first time that ever happened in our history. But it seems like a lot of people have been coming back to games. Now, I don't know if the economy has a certain effect on that, because you could go out with your kids for an evening and it's a $5 ticket, and it's maybe $2 or $3 tickets to the kids, which is cheaper than the movies.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's exciting for the youngsters to see.
He had to bring up that game against you guys.
Yeah, he's rub it in.
He beat me a lot more than I beat him, that's for sure.
No, you guys played in college together. I touched on this early on. Who was the better player?
Billy was the best.
Oh, yeah.
He was. Billy was the best.
That's his way of, you know, feeling sorry for me.
He's saying
Rub it in 10.
on TV. He's coming out and saying you're the best.
Oh,
You're
yes,
a good guy.
that'll be the day.
I'll tell you, you know, I was a freshman, and Billy was our senior captain when I came to Quinnipiac, and you know what, he he always, kept a tight ship as a captain. He did, and you know what? He was a winner back then. He worked his tail off to win, and just like his teams do.
To this day, every time I go to East Haven, I see Louis' father. And he is the most dedicated fan you'll ever find in high school hockey.
Well,
he
thank
never
you.
missed a college game.
Yeah, I know.
Great guy. I love seeing
He's
him.
at everything. The
I look
grandkids
forward to
games.
that.
Yeah, he's a good man.
I look forward to seeing him not getting beat by him.
Well, you owe him one now for sure.
Yeah. Don't worry, he'll get me next year.
You're on the schedule next year?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Good, we'll be at that
Absolutely.
one for
I'll
sure.
have him forever.
Do you need do we need security to walk you guys to the car? You guys know you're right or what?
We're good. We're
Okay.
good. We won't drop the gloves yet.
All right. Well, Lou Payne, thanks for coming in. Bill Veneris, thanks for coming in. Appreciate
Thank
you
you.
talking some
Thank
high
you
school
very much.
hockey.
Thank you.
That's going to do it here on Sports Edge. Thanks for watching.